The sociology of science, key concepts and perspectives. Science is often seen as an objective pursuit of truth, but sociologists recognize that it is also a social institution shaped by cultural, historical, and political forces. The sociology of science examines how scientific knowledge is created, legitimized, and challenged within social contexts. From power structures to institutional norms, various factors influence the production and acceptance of scientific ideas. This discussion explores 10 fundamental concepts that shape the sociology of science, highlighting their significance in understanding how knowledge is constructed. Scientific knowledge is not purely objective, but is shaped by social processes, including the interactions between scientists, funding agencies, and institutional structures. Sociologists such as Bruno Latour and Steve Woolgar have argued that scientific facts are constructed through negotiations, debates, and consensus building within scientific communities. Laboratory studies reveal how experiments are interpreted within existing theoretical frameworks, reinforcing the idea that science is a human activity embedded in social contexts. Robert K. Merton identified a set of institutional norms that govern scientific practice, often summarized by the acronym CUDOS, communalism, universalism, disinterestedness, and organized skepticism. Communalism suggests that scientific knowledge should be shared freely. Universalism asserts that science should be evaluated based on merit rather than personal or social characteristics. Disinterestedness emphasizes objectivity and lack of personal bias, and organized skepticism requires rigorous scrutiny of claims. While these norms idealize scientific conduct, sociologists have also examined how real-world scientific practices sometimes diverge from them. Thomas Kuhn's concept of paradigms and scientific revolutions challenges the idea of science as a linear accumulation of knowledge. Kuhn argued that scientific progress occurs through paradigm shifts, where dominant frameworks are replaced by new ones in response to anomalies that existing theories cannot explain. Normal science operates within a prevailing paradigm, but when enough inconsistencies emerge, a scientific revolution occurs, leading to a new way of understanding phenomena. This perspective underscores the social dimensions of scientific change and the role of intellectual communities in shaping knowledge. Science holds a unique form of authority in modern societies, influencing policy decisions, technological advancements, and public understanding of the world. This authority is both cognitive, based on expertise and empirical validation, and social, maintained through institutions, funding structures, and professional credentials. Sociologists explore how scientific authority is constructed, maintained, and sometimes challenged, particularly in controversies where scientific consensus is disputed by political or ideological interests. Scientific knowledge is produced within communities that establish norms, enforce standards, and determine what counts as legitimate research. These communities, as discussed by Ludwig Fleck and later by Kuhn, create thought styles that shape how problems are framed and what methods are considered acceptable. Professional networks, peer review systems, and academic institutions play a crucial role in maintaining scientific disciplines, ensuring that knowledge production follows established conventions while also allowing space for innovation and debate. Scientific controversies, such as debates over climate change, genetically modified organisms, or medical treatments, reveal the social dimensions of science. These disputes are not always resolved by experimental evidence alone, but involve competing interpretations, institutional interests, and public engagement. Sociologists study how different actors, including scientists, policymakers, industry representatives, and advocacy groups, shape the framing of scientific issues, influencing public perception and policy outcomes. Scientific research does not occur in isolation, but is shaped by funding sources, institutional priorities, and economic interests. Government agencies, private corporations, and philanthropic foundations direct research agendas by providing financial support for certain projects over others. This influence raises questions about the objectivity of scientific findings, as financial incentives can shape what topics receive attention and how results are interpreted. The increasing commercialization of research, particularly in fields like pharmaceuticals and biotechnology, highlights the complex relationship between science and market forces. Historically, science has been dominated by white male scholars, leading to biases in research priorities, methodologies, and interpretations of data. Feminist critiques of science, such as those by Evelyn Fox Keller and Sandra Harding, have highlighted how gendered assumptions influence scientific inquiry, from the framing of biological differences to the underrepresentation of women in STEM fields. Efforts to increase diversity in science challenge traditional power structures and promote more inclusive knowledge production, ensuring that scientific research reflects a broader range of perspectives and experiences. Scientific knowledge is not confined to academic circles, but interacts with public perceptions, media representations, and policymaking. The sociology of science examines how scientific information is communicated to non-experts, the role of trust in scientific institutions, and the impact of misinformation. In an era where science is frequently politicized, understanding how people interpret and engage with scientific claims is crucial for addressing issues such as vaccine hesitancy, climate skepticism, and pseudoscience. Science has become increasingly global, with international collaborations, cross-border research initiatives, and knowledge exchange shaping scientific progress. While this globalization fosters innovation and the sharing of expertise, it also raises questions about intellectual property, ethical considerations in cross-cultural research, and the dominance of Western scientific paradigms. Sociologists analyze how scientific knowledge circulates globally, considering both the benefits and the challenges of an interconnected scientific enterprise. The sociology of science reveals that scientific knowledge is not merely a product of objective discovery, but is deeply embedded in social, political, and institutional contexts. By examining how knowledge is constructed, contested, and disseminated, sociologists provide critical insights into the dynamics of scientific practice. Understanding these concepts helps illuminate the forces that shape scientific progress, highlighting both the strengths and limitations of science as a social endeavor. Stay tuned for more insights into business and the social sciences. If you found this overview helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on future topics you'd like us to cover. I'm Dr. Dog, wishing you a fantastic day ahead.